Thank you. I also have a question about the Holy Quran.
Yes.
In Birmingham, a couple of months ago, where I live, there was a shop that was selling copies of the Holy Quran. Now, this shop were a firm of liquidators who bought books and material from collapsed businesses.
Correct.
And the original shop that sold these Holy Qurans had been destroyed by fire.
I see.
So the liquidators bought stocks of whatever stocks of material they had, including copies of the Holy Quran.
Right.
And they put these on sale.
Yes.
The shopkeeper was a non-Muslim, and so were his staff.
Right.
And some local Muslims found out about this, and they were most upset, and they picketed the shop.
Yes.
And they gave the manager and his staff a very hard time, saying that it is not right for non-Muslims to touch or handle the Holy Quran. Now, is there any hadith or any saying in the Holy Quran that prohibits non-Muslims from touching the Holy Quran?
None whatsoever. And also, the practice of the Muslims themselves in the world gives a lie to this claim, because the Holy Qurans are being translated and distributed in large numbers to non-Muslims by various Muslim sects, and translations are made available. The Quran is published by the non-Muslim publishing companies. Whether the translation is made by a Muslim or a non-Muslim, this is the established practice. How can they impose this condition on every shop that they should not sell the copy of the Holy Quran to a non-Muslim? And what means he would have at his disposal to determine a non-Muslim from a Muslim? If somebody walks in and says, I am a Muslim, give me. So either way it is wrong. It's not applicable. It's sheer nonsense. So for them to pick out this poor man for his picketing and this is very, very untrue. Had it been in Pakistan, of course it would be understandable, because they do it only for our sake, to hit at us. You will never hear of any mullah, attacking the Christian centers there, which possess the Qurans, with the purpose of condemning the Quran, and for the purpose of criticizing negatively, very strongly criticizing some verses of the Quran. And this Quran was published many a time by the Christians themselves. Now, never would you hear of any attempt by mullahs to go to the Christian houses or Christian centers searching for the Quran. But when it is found in the possession of an Ahmadi, what charges are pressed against him? Do you know that?
Well, he's a disbeliever, and he's doing the Quran dishonour by even touching or looking at it.
No, it is taken to be an insult to the Holy Prophet. As such, the man must be condemned to death. So, if a Quran is discovered in the possession of an Ahmadi, this is the law of Islam. If the Quran is discovered in the possession of any Tom, Dick and Harry, an atheist, a Jew, a Christian, a Hindu, a Sikh, or anybody else, there's no problem. This is their Islam.
Mm-hmm. I had a funny experience when I first became an Ahmadi. When I officially joined our sect in 1983, I went to an ordinary local shop, a Pakistani shop, and they had some Jai Namaz in the windows, the prayer mats. And I went in and I said, I'd like to buy one, please. And he looked at me and he said, no, I'm not going to sell you one. And I said, well, why not, And he said, they're not ordinary carpets, And what are you going to do with it? I said, well, I'm going to pray with it. I'll pray on it. It's a Jai Namaz, it's a prayer mat. And he didn't believe me. And he went back into the shop and he spoke to the manager or the supervisor or the owner. And they came back and they said, we're not going to sell it to you because we don't believe you're a Muslim. And so I said to him, Islam is for everybody. It's not only for Pakistanis and Arabs. It's for everybody. And how can you tell what is inside somebody's heart? I've come into your shop asking you for a Jai Namaz to pray on it, and you've refused me. How do you know what's in my heart? And he had no answer to that. And I said, well, you can keep your Jainamas. In that case, I prefer to buy one from a
And
proper
keep your
source.
Jainamas and the sect and all that goes with it.
Yes, yes.
Very stupid, This is they bring blemish to the face, the pure, beautiful face of Islam,
That's right, yes.
by their own misconceptions of realities of life.
I certainly wouldn't have become a Muslim if
you
it hadn't have been for Ahmadiyya.
That's why I'm quite sure. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember you meeting me before you had become an Ahmadi,
That's right.
and I could see that in you. You just wouldn't go for any nonsense.
No. Even now.
In views, of course, I do. A faith which satisfies the mind and heart both together and permanently. That is the faith for all those who think honestly and freely.
Yes.
None other is acceptable.
No.
And Ahmadiyya version of Islam just fits into the picture. This is the faith.